GM. Today's lesson, I'll talk about handling travel and work. Got a question, which is something I actually thought I assumed I would have had a lesson on it before. Can't believe I've done how many hundreds of lessons and I haven't talked about traveling plus work. So no time like the present. Question was, basically, I've never went to more than 2 places in one summer up until now, and now I'm going to do at least 5 different trips. I know that you and other important people fly a lot often. I was wondering, how do you handle these situations, as I cannot work as much as I do at home? So that's the question. So basically, as you move up in the world and as you get more money and as you become more successful, you're going to start traveling more. That's one of the biggest, not for everyone, but one of the biggest goals for many people is to be able to travel more, see more of the world, and, spend their money to have experiences. And so the question becomes, well, how do you continue to be productive, get work done? How do you continue to, see positive outputs even when you're traveling? First thing, short answer is, there is no win-win. There is no way that you can be entirely as productive as you are when you have no distractions as when you do have distractions. This is a choice that you're making. Don't forget. You're choosing to travel. You could also not travel. So if you're choosing to travel, it must mean that you want to go somewhere. If you want to go somewhere, it means that you're willing to take time to go and experience things. If you're going to sit in front of the screen for 15 hours a day, 7 days a week with no travel, and then you make a bunch of money and you're like, I want to go and see fucking the Colosseum in Rome, and you fly to Rome, well, you're not going to be on your screen 15 hours because you're going to go and see the fucking Colosseum. But that's the choice, right? So you have to separate the actual life experience from work. So if you're traveling for, and really for any reason, you have to understand that you are willingly taking yourself away from the optimal work environment. You are not going to be as productive. It's not physically possible. You're not going to be at home in your office with your multiple screens and your good setup and your comfortable chair and no distractions, and you're not in a different city, and you don't want to go out to dinner, every night, and you don't want to go and see the Colosseum, and you don't want to go out to the club and out to the bar, and all, right? So it's not even that traveling is the problem. If you just flew from one place to another place, yeah, the bit on the plane would be disrupted. But if you just flew from one office and then landed in another city and went to another office and just worked, your work would be no different. Just the travel in between. It's the fact that you're actually choosing to do something that pulls you away from work. So how can you get around that? How do I get around it? Well, over time, you will set yourself up in such a way that, first of all, you have the money to do it, right? That's important. And it doesn't mean that you don't need to work. Like, you all know that I never stop working when I'm on the rally. I kept doing my streams, kept doing the videos, kept doing the lessons, kept doing all the answering the questions, did everything. Even though I was driving supercars across Europe, right, for 8 days. And that was not easy at all to get, like, online, to get times to, do work. It's not simple. I certainly wasn't sitting at my desk with my screens in a quiet room. I was in a fucking Lambo, which is completely impractical to do I couldn't record anything in a super loud car, super uncomfortable car, very small, very cramped, right? So it was a choice I made to say, I want to do this trip. Therefore, I front load, so I do loads of work before the trip so that I know my productivity is going to drop slightly on the trip. And then I keep doing the essentials that need to be done, no matter what. So if you're traveling, you have to condense your schedule into the most important things. The thing I most suffer with, and I think that is probably what holds most people back when it comes to traveling, whether it's for work or traveling for leisure, and trying to keep trading or keep your schedule, is that you try and do the same things. You're going to fail if you try and do the same things, right? If you have this full 12 hours of productive work every day, and you do, 5 different tasks, and you always do it, and you have time for all of it, and you fit it all in, and then you go and travel, you can't get upset when you don't get all of that 10 hours of work done. If you don't have the time, you don't have the time. What you must do is know what the key things are. What are the most important things? If you're traveling, you are not going to be able to sit on the screens all day trading, right? You're not going to be able to day trade. You're not going to be able to spend 12 hours trading and travel. You're going to have to sacrifice one of them. So what do? You spend all your time working and trading, and then if you go and travel, you don't fucking do the trading. You just don't do it. I didn't take any fucking trades. Certainly no day trades. None of that on the rally. Why? Don't have my screens, don't have my setup, don't have my proper amount of time and energy and focus. I don't want to do it. I don't want to think about it because I'm trying to have fucking fun. I'm trying to disconnect a bit. So a lot of it is just your unrealistic expectations. Stop expecting to have the same amount of productivity when you are not in a place where you can be as productive. But that is not an excuse to be lazy either. So it's about prioritization. What do you need to get done? If you're traveling and you run a small business, what do you need to do each day to make sure the business keeps running? That's delegation. You should have people working for you. That's outsourcing it. You must have people there to do the things you need to be done. And you must check in with them people first, right? And you should hopefully be in a position where you're only putting out major fires. If it's about your trading, you need to focus on swing trades. You need to do analysis, journaling every morning, analysis, end of day review. You have to do all that normal stuff. But you need to make it so that you can take trades that are not requiring you to be on the charts all the time. It has to be something that's a system that you've built, that's back-tested, where you can actually put in a trade, and if it does give you a signal and you get in, you can close the chart. You put your stop loss in, you put your take profit in, you leave the alerts there, but you don't have to micromanage it. You don't have to babysit it. It's, a swing trade that's just running in the background. Don't go and travel and then fucking enter a scalp trade or a day trade where you're walking around the city that you're supposed to be sightseeing and you're fucking going to the Colosseum and you want to see the Colosseum in Rome and you're going on the tour and walking up towards the fucking amazing architecture of this historical fucking one of the wonders of the world, and you're sitting there opening up and refreshing your fucking Bybit every 5 seconds, sweating over some stupid Bitcoin scalp trade, right? Sacrifices must be made. You're traveling for a reason. If that reason's work, good. It might mean you can't trade as much, but the work you're doing should be equally productive, right? So if you're traveling for work, that's sorted. You're still being productive. You're just being productive in a different place. If you're traveling for leisure, you should have earned it, right? So it should be something that you've earned from doing good, solid, hard work for many, many months. And so when you are there, understand that you should take a little bit of time off by reducing the workload. Not putting it to zero, still get your early work done, still get your night end of day work done, but go and enjoy yourself the rest of the time. If you normally work 12 hours a day and then you're traveling, work 4 hours a day. 2 in the morning, 2 at night. The rest of the day is all for you. Keep on a roll. Keep always doing your journaling. Keep always checking in with your key tasks. Keep that consistency of doing things each day, but you can do fewer things and fit in the things you want to do, right? And don't fucking stress it. If you're stressed, it means you're not prepared. You can be prepared because if you're traveling 4 times, if you're traveling 3 times, or you're traveling 6 times this year, you know this. You're the one who booked it. You booked it in advance. You know the flights. You know when the hotels are. You know it's all booked, right? So you should have your work ready, done in advance, and you should have your schedule and plan set up so that you know you're away this week, just like if you're in a job, out of office this week, don't contact me unless it's an emergency, right? But think about that for yourself. That's what you would say if you're working in a company. Think about it for yourself. That's the week. So there's 5 weeks where I'm traveling this year. They're the 5 weeks where I'm going to have the least amount of time. So every other week should be extra productive. And on those 5 weeks, I should already know, here's my minimum amount that I need to do to stay productive. It's just basic planning, basic planning and time management.